Today I'm going to do a little experimenting. I got this Glimmerz, hopefully you can see it there, Glimmerz powder, I guess you'd call it, from somebody on the pen turning board, and it's like a flaky, I don't know what you'd call it. Clamshell is the name of it. It kind of looks like crushed up clamshells, but it's basically like a powder to dye and create blanks with some substance and a cool look. So I'm going to try this today, and I'm going to make it in 3 different resins. I'm going to use Alumilite, liquid diamonds, and polyester resin. I'm going to pour 1 blank of each in my mold here and throw it in the pressure pot and see how they come out and see what kind of results we get from the 3 resins with this stuff. So let's get mixing. So the way I'm going to do this is mix the the liquid diamonds first, then the polyester, then the Alumilite, just because of time that I have to do that. The liquid diamonds, I've got basically all the time I need because it's such a slow cure. So I'm doing 90 grams. I think that'll be enough to, I actually think it'll be too much, but I'd rather have a little more than not enough. So I've got 90 grams of each. This is the liquid diamonds, the polyester resin, and the Alumilite I'm going to do right at the end because of the fast cure time. So I don't really know if there's a ratio for this stuff, so I'm basically going to just take a spoonful at a time and drop it in, stir it up, see if I need to add more. I guess you want it kind of a sludgy consistency, almost like a mud. So that's 2. So at 2 it's still kind of thin. Get a good solid spoonful here. So that's 3. That was pretty close. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but it's kind of looking like, it kind of looks like that faux corian stone like countertop. It's kind of what it looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and put 1 more, so that's 4. So I'm at 4 spoonfuls here in the liquid diamonds. You can kind of see it's like looks like a stone mud combination. Has a cool look so far. There's 5. So I probably could have done less resin because I've got so much other material in here, but that's fine. So now 6 spoonfuls. That's getting pretty good. So 7. Yep, I think that was the one. So 7 spoonfuls with this 90 grams seems to give me a nice consistency. Kind of looks like a stone in there. So 7 spoonfuls. So I'm going to do the same amount in here. I'll start off with 3. 1, 2, 3. This is the polyester. Alright, so now I'm pouring my Alumilite. And this is where I have to go a little faster just because I don't have quite as long of an open time. The Alumilite, I'm going to go ahead and start with 4 spoonfuls. So I just went ahead and put the Alumilite in 1 cup because I figured I'd have to stir this stuff really well. Kind of feels like the liquid diamonds, like it's going to take a lot of this stuff. So there's 2 more. Has the same look. There, it's starting to thicken up. I'm guessing you want this pretty thick, or it will have a lot of clear in it, which might not be as cool as, you know, thick with the parts of this stuff, whatever the pigments are. I don't even know how this will pour because it's pretty, with half as much, it's pretty thick already. So 1 more spoonful here. See how that ends up. The epoxy seems to take the stuff a little easier, and the Alumilite acts like the epoxy. Let's see here. Get a better view of the pouring. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour the epoxy first. Or no, I'm gonna pour the polyester first because it's like sludge. Although if it cures like this, it might not be a bad thing. It's gonna kind of look like corian, it looks like. I'm gonna get it full without going too crazy here. Don't really want it all over the mold. One I already spilled, so that's great. Okay, next I'm going to pour the Alumilite. Give it a final stir here. This stuff is still really runny, which is nice. Should pour just fine. Yeah. That's halfway. I'm going to stir it up again. The stuff seems to settle. That's probably why you need so much of it in there. So that is pretty full. We'll let that sit for just a sec. And the liquid diamonds. Oh yeah, it's settling down. So stir it, stir it, stir it. Pour. Give some table tap here. You can see the epoxy and the Alumilite really foamed up. The air is pushing out. The polyester hardly has any foam or bubbles on it. So what I'm going to do, stir up some more Alumilite. That may have been a little too much. Do this one here. And I'm going to call that good. So these are going to go in the pot now. Alright, so our blanks have cured, and let's pop them out of the mold and see what they look like. And before I do that, I'll tell you the three resins that I tested, the liquid diamonds, the polyester, and the Alumilite, they were all very different. The Alumilite cures fast, obviously, and that was pretty much no problem. The polyester stayed sticky for a couple days, and this has been a few days since I poured these, which actually worked out to my advantage because a couple days in or a day in, I touched it and it was still pretty gooey in the polyester. The liquid diamonds, slow cure, but it seemed to cure pretty normally, but I think we're all good as far as this. So let's pop them out so you can see what they look like. So it's gonna be hard to see. I just wrote on my mold, you got the liquid diamonds, the PR, and the A for Alumilite. So let's just do these one at a time. This is the liquid diamonds. And it actually looks really cool. It looks just like corian, actually. Like identical to corian. Really quickly, I'm noticing that even though when I was mixing it, it was very thick, I've got all this separation where there's no material in it. So I guess even as thick as I did it, you'd have to go thicker and thicker to make sure that you filled all the resin up with this material. But the bottom part where it settled looks really cool, and I'm hoping that that's just enough to maybe get a pen out of it. So we'll see about that. This one is the polyester resin. Now, you're gonna see this weirdness on the corner here and on the side. I actually leaked some of the Alumilite over into there and they don't get along. But it's a little tacky, but it did harden up enough to where it looks usable. A little tacky on the end, but that's again where the Alumilite seeped into it. So normally I wouldn't be mixing or pouring 3 different resins at once, but I just wanted to try it. But this one looks good too. The I don't know if you can tell in the video here, but the liquid diamonds is much smoother and flatter, and it actually looks like it has no voids versus the polyester has some voids in it. So far the liquid diamonds looks best. And let's do the Alumilite. And this one looks like a twin brother of the liquid diamonds. Very smooth, no voids, nice hard finish. But there again, if you can see the separation line here, I thought I was mixing it very, very thick, but not thick enough, because I've got about half the blank is just the tan color from this material, but not full of the chips. And if you remember, this stuff is very flaky. I don't know how good this picks up on camera, but it's really a tough thing to mix, but I think with a couple of tries you'd have it down pretty good. But again, I can't get over how much it just looks like corian, and I haven't turned corian in years, but we're gonna give this a try and see what it looks like. So I think what I'm gonna do is take the thickest blank here, and it looks like the liquid diamonds and the Alumilite are almost the same, but I wanna turn something that's a little small because I didn't mix it so thick. You know, the learning process here is causing that, but no big deal. But I'm gonna turn a tiny giant. It's a nice thin tube, 8mm tube. And I've got some antique brass that I think will look really cool with this color, this clamshell. And I won't show you the whole turning process because I've got plenty of videos on that. If you have any questions, let me know. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn this up, polish it, and see how it looks, and I'll come back with that so we can see what a finished pen looks like with this Glimmerz clamshell. So I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, I'm a natural skeptic. When I got this stuff, I just wasn't sure what it would be like. Let me give it a good. And even when I mixed it, it was just thick and whatever. But I gotta tell you, I really like it. It definitely reminds me of corian, which, like I said, I haven't turned it for years, but I ended up doing the liquid diamonds pour. And you can see this is the remainder of it. It cut really easily. It glued nice. The tube had no problem holding in, and it turned really well. I micro meshed it and used Plast-X polish. By the way, I've been really loving this Plast-X, if that's how you say it, Plast-X polish by Meguiar's. I'll put a link to it in case you want to try it, but I've been using it on everything: acrylic, polyester, Alumilite, liquid diamonds, CA finish, everything, and it works really great. But back to this Glimmerz, it came out really great, and if I do say so myself, the brass was an excellent choice. And I'll post some pictures so you can see it better, because it's really hard to get a good close-up on a video. One thing I noticed is the way that powder settled in the mold. Like the fine stuff was at the bottom, then the thicker stuff, then there was more fine stuff. And I can almost see that in the blank. And it's as if it tells a little story of the material. You've got the thicker stuff there, and then the finer stuff there, and that was all settled to the bottom. So I'm really pleased with the way this came out. I want to try mixing it with some tinted resins and see how that works. It may totally look cool, or it may totally ruin the effect of the material, but I'm going to try some more with what I've got left there. So I would call this a success, and I like the product. It will require a little learning on how to mix it good, but pretty neat stuff. And again, this is on a tiny giant, so it's very small, but it looks really cool. The antique brass and this stone color just work really well together. So hope you found this video at least a little interesting. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Be sure and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to do more videos as much as I can. And thanks for watching. Any comments or questions, just put them below and I will try to get to them. Thanks, guys. Bye.